that my, oh, okay. Okay, cool. Got it. Cool. Do you feel good?
Okay.
Do you want to start it again?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the it just moves a little sooner than you wanted to.
That's the anxiety.
Got it. Sing it with me 3 times. Again.
I just gotta.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Or just, yeah. Yeah. It's just some more.
Can I try one more?
Yeah. Okay. Just that line?
Yeah.
Cool. That's fine if the rhythm's different as long as it is.
Okay.
This is how they record it, but if you want to go, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
As long as you get
Yeah, that's actually probably.
it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
That's my
Probably. Yeah, it's written a little bit different on the music too nowadays.
Okay.
You're all alone. You can do what you want. It's good.
I know. I don't want it to sound like it's.
It's just as long as you get to this on that. Yeah, that works. That works. Glad you're here. Thanks. Sorry your buddies aren't here. Erica and Alicia are doing like a Shakespeare play this weekend or something. Yeah, it sounds like it.
Thank you so much. You sound great. You great.
Yeah. You can sit wherever you want.
There's coffee, right?
Yeah, there is coffee here. And tea and I don't know what else. Yeah. Do I need help? Probably not. Like, I'm gonna leave it here for the first thing. I'm doing because I'm doing the call to worship at night, and then I might put it over there between the songs.
Hi, how are you?
Good morning. Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian. My name is Andrea Mitchell, and it's my pleasure to serve on your board of trustees for the next few years. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whether you carry joy or sorrow in your heart, you are welcome here. All people of goodwill are warmly invited to join us on the great journey of the mind, the heart, and the spirit. We want to extend a special welcome to any first-time visitors. You don't have to stand up, but we're glad that you're here. We would love to get to know you further and answer any questions you might have about our congregation. If you're joining us online, we encourage you to fill out the form linked in the chat and in today's order of service. If you're visiting us in person, we invite you to join us after the service for coffee. And the way you do that is you get your coffee or your cookie and you stand there alone, and one of our less introverted members will come and talk to you. Welcome. And I believe we have some announcements with Leslie.
Sorry, I should have sat closer so you didn't have to wait so long. All right. This congregation has been so good to me. In my first 2 years as your Director of Family Ministry and Inclusion, I have been blessed with a ridiculous amount of love and support from each and every one of you. And now, naturally, I'm here to ask for more. I wear a lot of hats around here, so I thought for each of my asks today, and I have 3, that I would put on a different hat. Thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. Yes. What happens when children, teens, adults, and elders have meaningful opportunities to learn, laugh, wonder, and grow together? That's what we want to explore this year. Our Faith Formation Committee wants to create engaging, intergenerational activities that bring our whole community together. We're looking for people with ideas, curiosity, creativity, and enthusiasm for imagining what faith formation can look like when everyone has a place at the table. We meet just once a month for an hour. You don't have to be an educator or have all the answers, just bring your ideas and perspective. Interested in joining our team? Come see me after service or email me and help us imagine and create the dynamic intergenerational community we want to be. Kids, are you watching? This one should have gotten something. Okay. Every Sunday morning, we need at least 4 volunteers to make our RE classes meaningful for our littlest congregants. 1 at the check-in table, 1 in preschool, and primary and intermediate classrooms. No experience necessary. I provide on-the-job training, and the children are generally forgiving of rookie mistakes. You do need to pass a background check, however, and share my belief that children are, in fact, magical, hilarious, and fascinating little humans. Come see me after service or email me if you would like to spend some Sunday mornings with the youngest UUs, even just once a month or a quarter. Come for the tiny humans, stay for the big smiles, and leave knowing you made Sunday morning even more magical. I saved my favorite hat for last, Casa Bonita. If you are new to UU spaces, you may not know that for the last 25 years, UU congregations have been transforming lives with our life-affirming comprehensive sexuality education program called Our Whole Lives, or OWL for short. The K-3 curriculum is developmentally appropriate and covers content such as our wonderful bodies, body boundaries, families, how babies begin, pregnancy and birth, and babies. Ellery, Robin, Keith, and I will be teaching OWL curriculum to a group of 2nd and 3rd graders starting on September 20th, and we still have a few slots available. If you know any families with a 2nd or 3rd grader, please share this information with them, and the deadline to register is August 28th. Thank you.
Once again, welcome, and please take a minute to chat with those around you briefly.
Good morning. Would you join us in singing our song of welcome? We are many, we are one. The light of the world is within you. Sacred and worthy is your soul. A place has been made for you. Welcome.
Slow down, slow down. Good morning, First Unitarian. Today, our worship service is about silence, and I wanted to share a thought before our call to worship. Each summer, I attend the conference for the Association of Unitarian Universalist Music Ministries. Yes, we have an acronym. It's AUM. It's a long name. Last summer, my colleagues and I had the honor of working with a song leader named Rebecca Goldsmith, and she shared this delightful idea that I continue to ponder. The silence at the end of singing is the whole reason for singing. The magic awaiting us at the end of the song. The sound, the harmony, and our felt experience continue to reverberate in this silence like ripples on water. And so in this spirit, I invite you to experiment with me today. At the end of each piece of music this morning, let us pause in silence. Notice this experience and whatever we are feeling in that moment. While we typically applaud after music pieces in our services, today I invite you instead to savor the silence and the continuing reverberations of our songs.
So I'm going to call to worship today. I'm going to need a little help from you. And it's really simple. You're just going to go like this. If all the world were peaceful now and forevermore, peaceful at the surface, peaceful at the core, all the joy within my heart would be so free to soar. And we're living on a living planet, circling a living star. I don't know where we're going, but I know we're going far. We can change the universe by being who we are. And we're living on a living planet, circling a living star.
plants to trees, to the air we breathe, turned our lungs to dust. And the redwoods so tall, now they're all beginning to rust. No bending sway at all. That ancient dance is lost, and the wind moved like an echo beside every gust. Well, someday I hope to find that land where the coffee grows on the white oak trees. Those sugar-coated mountains, the spring begin to melt into the sweetest dreams. Each night the starlight hangs together for eternity, and the wind moves like an echo as the world drops off to sleep. Good morning, friends. Come on down. We've got Zoe, we've got Ben, we've got Sophie, Esperanza, Maite, a friend, Melody. Come on down, friends. All right. So glad you're here today. Come on down. And you can get up front here too so you can see me. Yeah, whatever you prefer, but it's nice to be able to see me too. There you go. Although adult friends probably prefer seeing your beautiful faces. Should have left you where you were. All right, friends, today Reverend Mike is going to talk to the adults about the importance of silence. Have you ever noticed when everything is really noisy, it can be hard to hear anything? Sometimes our world is full of sounds. People talking, cars going by, music playing, phones ringing, siblings laughing, and all of those sounds can be wonderful. But sometimes it can be good to have a little quiet. When we are quiet, we might notice things we didn't notice before. The sound of our own breathing, a bird outside, the feeling of our feet on the floor, or a thought or a feeling in our hearts. Silence doesn't mean nothing is happening. Silence helps us notice what is happening. So I have a short story, and then we're going to be silent for 30 seconds. So I want you to wrap your mind around that, because that might be hard. You ready? So one morning, Maya was having a very busy day. Her little brother was talking. The dog was barking. Someone was making toast. The radio was playing. Maya felt like her brain was saying, oh, too much. So she went outside and sat under a tree. Have you ever done that? Gone outside and just enjoyed nature? At first, she could still hear lots of things, a car, a dog, someone mowing the lawn. But Maya stayed quiet. And after a while, she heard something she hadn't noticed before. Chirp, chirp. What was it? Chirp, chirp. It was a bird. A tiny bird was singing in the tree above her, and she smiled. The bird had been singing the whole time. She just needed some quiet to hear it. So sometimes our thoughts and feelings are like that little bird. They're there, but we may need to get quiet to notice them. So let's see what we can discover in 30 seconds of quiet. Do you think we can do it? The adults are going to do it with us. We are all going to be quiet for 30 seconds. And you don't have to close your eyes. You don't even have to sit perfectly still. But we're just going to try to stay quiet for 30 seconds and see what we notice. You ready? I'm going to set a timer. Set a timer for 30 seconds. All right, ready? Go. That was 30 seconds. Give me a thumbs up if that felt easy to you, or maybe a thumbs down if that was a struggle to stay quiet for 30 seconds. I see a lot of both. I see thumbs up and down. Little friends here, did you notice anything? How did that feel to stay quiet for that long? Relaxing and hearing yourself breathing. How about you, Ben? How did that feel?
I like green butterflies.
Okay, made you think of butterflies. Anyone else? Okay, so we don't have to be quiet all the time because our voices are important, but sometimes it's important to make a little space for silence so we can listen to ourselves, to each other, and the world around us. And guess what? When we go upstairs, do we have to be silent? No. Oh my goodness. Let's go upstairs and make some noise. All right, Mama.
Would you rise in body and or spirit? Join us in singing hymn 352, Find a Stillness. Find a stillness, hold a stillness, let the stillness carry me. Find the silence, hold the silence, let the silence carry me. In the Spirit, in the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit's giving power, I will find true harmony. Seek the essence. Seek the essence, hold the essence, let the essence carry. Let me flower, let me flower, help me flower, watch me flower, carry me in the Spirit, in the Spirit, by the Spirit, with the Spirit giving power, I will find true harmony.
Leslie didn't tell me if I had to wait 30 seconds, so I'm just going to go ahead. Good morning, First Unitarian. My name is Peter Swanson. I'm a member of the Giving and Action team. And as you know, if you've been around, twice a month, our offerings from our plate go to an organization that fits with our values. Shortly, I'll introduce you to our recipient for today. But before I do, we have a meeting in 2 weeks for Giving and Action, and we're shy of some forms for people who might want to be a recipient. You can find, if you have an organization that might be interested and you want to know how to connect them with us, meet me in the community room after the service. I'll tell you how to do it. But with that, the introduction I have is very short. This is Georgianne Barrett of Archway Communities.
Thank you very much, Peter, and it is truly an honor to be with all of you today. As Peter mentioned, my name is Georgianne Barrett. I'm the Director of Communications and Philanthropy at Archway Communities. For the last 50 years, Archway has been developing, preserving, and operating affordable housing here in Colorado, and mostly here in Denver. We currently own and operate 12 different communities across the Front Range, providing affordable housing to anyone who needs it. Most of our residents live between 30 and 60% of the area median income, but we serve an incredibly diverse range of residents, individuals and families exiting an experience of homelessness, older adults, veterans, refugees and immigrants, and really anybody seeking housing. We also provide supportive services at our properties to ensure that every single resident has whatever it is that they need to thrive. We provide no-cost food programming, linkages to mental health care and health care, kids club programming, community gardening, and so much more. And all of our services are resident informed because we really are committed to meeting residents where they are. We are expanding really rapidly. We have over 500 units in various stages of development, but most importantly, we truly believe that housing is a right and not a privilege. And it is a privilege to be here with all of you today. So thank you so much for your support. Philanthropy really fills the gap and allows us to be able to provide supportive services at our properties so everyone in our communities can maintain their housing stability and thrive. So thank you so much for having me here today. It's a pleasure to be here.
After the service, Georgianne and I will be in the community room during coffee hour, and we ask that you please be generous.
Thank you. Thank you for your generosity, your contributions to support the work of our community partner, Archway Properties. Can you imagine a world where housing was a right? Holy cow. I'd also like to take a moment and just hold up one of the many groups within our congregation that help things run smoothly and make us, in my humble opinion, a great congregation. I attended a mini planning working retreat with the Connections Ministry team yesterday. So if you're one of our Connections Ministry folks, present or past, would you stand up, please, so we can recognize you? A couple of weeks ago, this is all prior to doing the prayer today, but a couple of weeks ago I did a sermon called Let's Talk About Men. And I got feedback. Positive, negative. Some folks thought I was just way too hard on men. Almost to a person, the women I've talked to thought I didn't go nearly far enough. But clearly, there's some substance there. So today we're going to do Whole Soul Studio at 12 o'clock, and we're going to talk about men. So you're all invited. There's no agenda to Whole Soul Studio, which we do about once a month, other than just to have a conversation that matters with the people in your community. That's what we'll be after. Couple of joys and concerns of our larger community I need to share with you at this moment. We send our sympathies and love to Charlotte Broad-Kern because Charlotte's father, the Honorable Walter Broad, passed away last week. Charlotte, I believe, is still back in the Chicago area with her family. I need to let you know that we had scheduled a memorial service for Jack Doucette, a long-time member. Jack Doucette was such a long-time member of our congregation, he was president of the board in 1974. We were going to do his memorial service today at 3, but Helga Doucette, Jack's longtime beloved wife, had a fall and has a concussion. So we are postponing that memorial for at least a couple of months until she is able to participate. I want to let you know that Rhonda Williamson, our church administrator, is home today with further complications from a surgery she had a couple of weeks ago. And I want to let you know Patrick Horton spent a few days in the hospital last week. He is home now, but they're still trying to figure out what's going on in his gastric system. This morning, we pray for strength for those living precariously on short-term gig jobs. And we pray for patience and clarity for those who are waiting for a diagnosis or some effective treatment. We pray for comfort and company to those whose loneliness feels like a burden just too heavy to carry. And as always, we pray for peace, for safety and dignity and justice, especially to those living under occupation and in war zones. My prayer today on our topic was written by Reverend Jacob Trapp, who was a minister of this congregation at one point, many, many decades ago. It's called A Meditation on Silence, and I just invite you to do whatever it is you do when you might meditate on silence. Let this house be quiet. Let our minds be quiet. Let the quietness of the hills, the quietness of the deep waters, be also in us. So quiet that the noise of passing events and present anxieties, of random recollections and wandering thoughts, is stilled. So quiet that the marvelous stillness is like music. So quiet that we feel the very being which is the life of us all. So quiet that we are renewed. We feel at one with all others, at home in a tabernacle of stillness. So quiet that we sense the ripples of this pool of quietness and healing passing through us and out to the farthest star. So may it be. So in doing some research for my comments today, I came across a very, very old friend, so old it goes all the way back to my childhood. And it's my pleasure to begin my comments today by quoting the Grinch. For tomorrow I know all the Who girls and boys will wake bright and early. They'll rush for their toys. And then, oh, the noise. Oh, the noise, 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 noise. And they'll shriek squeaks and squeals racing round on their wheels. They'll dance with jing-tinglers tied to their heels. They'll blow their flu-fluvers, they'll bang their tartukas. They'll blow their hoo-hoopers, they'll bang their gardukas. They'll spin their trumtukas, they'll slam their slu-slunkas, they'll beat their blumbupas, they'll wham their hoo-wonkas, and then they'll play noisy games like zoo-zid-a-karze, a roller skate type of lacrosse and croquet. And then they'll make an ear-splitting noise, galooks with their great big electro-hoo-carnio flukes. The Grinch has a point. We're inundated with noise. In fact, the modern industrial world makes noise on a level that planet Earth has never heard before, with the possible exception of earthquakes, hurricanes, volcanic eruptions, and collisions with asteroids, which I think is not something we should brag about. So I'm going to do today's homily quite different from most of them. Instead of a single narrative, I'm going to share four short separate reflections about silence, and we'll just pause for a minute or so in between each one, because the theme, after all, is silence. And by the way, that's the paradox of silence. So doing a service on silence, you have to make some noise to do it. Here's the first one. In his short and poignant book, The Luminous Darkness, Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman wrote this: En route to the floor of the ocean, the diver first passes through the belt of the fishes. This is a wide band of light reflected from the surface of the sea. From this area, he moves to a depth of water that cannot be penetrated by light from above the surface. It is dark, foreboding, and eerie. The diver's immediate reaction is apt to be one of fear, and sometimes a sudden spasm of panic. That soon passes. As she drops deeper and deeper into the abyss, slowly her eyes begin to pick up the luminous quality of the darkness. And what is fear is relaxed, and she moves into the lower region with confidence and peculiar vision. I love that passage. That image of being so deep underwater that there's no light from the surface evokes a feeling that I invite you to imagine. If you've ever had your head underwater, at least under still water, and just listened, you have a small taste of this experience. Some of us go way out of our way to find a little silence and peace in our lives, but silence can be hard to take if the time in silence is extended. How many of us know teenagers who would have an anxiety attack at the thought of being away from their cell phones or screens for a week in the desert? How many adults yearn for silence and reflection and yet fill nearly every moment of their days with other things? I once heard a Christian pastor reflect that her congregation was full of people who had profound hopes of lounging in heavenly peace for all eternity, but didn't know what to do with themselves on a rainy afternoon.
The metaphor of the diver, though, offers us some hope and comfort. Entering silence, at first, it's like this wide band of light. It's serene and peaceful. The sensation is novel, a welcome change. But if the silence just goes on, sustained, I'll speak for myself. All by itself, my mind will begin looking for a way out of the silence that I've just achieved. The very peace I've been longing for. My list of worries and insecurities and things to do starts playing in my head before I even know it. In prolonged silence, we can start to feel out of our element, uncomfortable. We might feel a moment of fear or a spasm of panic. And it is possible to pass through that. Move further into the depths, and if we are blessed, notice the luminous quality of the darkness. I love that phrase, the luminous quality of the darkness, which is where we discover peculiar vision. The poet Keats wrote, "Heard melodies are sweet, but those unheard are sweeter." And you're invited to take a moment and listen and ponder a peculiar vision. Second reflection. In a fine book with the title In Pursuit of Silence, Listening for Meaning in a World of Noise, George Prochnik has this passage. The roots of our English term silence sink down through the language in multiple directions. Among the word's antecedents is the Gothic verb anasalon, a word that denotes the wind dying down. And the Latin word descendere, a word that means stop. Both of these etymologies suggest the way that silence is bound up with the idea of an action interrupted. The pursuit of silence, likewise, is dissimilar from most other pursuits in that it generally begins with a surrender of the chase. The abandonment of efforts to impose our will and our vision upon the world. Not only is it about standing still, with rare exceptions, the pursuit of silence initially involves a step backward from the tussle of life. We live in an age of incessancy under the banner of the already heard and already forgotten. I love when I learn a new word, incessancy. What a great word. So as Leah noted earlier, consider the uses of silence in music. That moment right before the first note of a song, that moment right at the end as the last note falls away. Claude Debussy is credited with saying, the music is in the space between the notes. And Miles Davis once said, it's not the notes you play, it's the notes you don't play. And I think about that very famous four-note refrain in Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, which Reverend Leah is going to play for us. Now, to my ears, the two most important moments of that whole sequence are the half beats of silence right there at the beginning. Right? The first one smack in between the middle of those first two four-note phrases. Bum, 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 pause. Bum, 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 bum. And then another little pause. Those little pauses create tension and expectation that set up the whole movement, so that just seconds later, when the pauses are gone, the whole feeling of the thing is of movement instead of expectation. And if that illustration resonates with you, then you might also resonate with the quote from Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl, who said, "Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom." And I think that bears repeating. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. And in that space lies our ability to choose our response. And in our response lies our growth and our freedom. He's saying that when stuff happens, which it always does and always will, we don't have to jump right in with a reaction. A moment in time, there's a space there, suspended, and we get to choose how we respond. Everything that follows depends on how we use that space. If we let go of incessancy. Solomon ibn Gabriel wrote, "The first step in the acquisition of wisdom is silence." So a third reflection. T.S. Eliot wrote, "Where will the world be found? Where will the word resound? Not here. There's not enough silence." Because silence connotes more than just shutting out noise, right? Silence is about an expanded awareness, whereas shutting out just limits our input. And I think there's a parallel relationship between the continuums of tuning out, tuning in, and between the experiences of loneliness and solitude. Tuning out, tuning in, loneliness, solitude. Richard Foster wrote that loneliness is an inner emptiness. Solitude is an inner fulfillment. In other words, tuning out, again, is just withdrawal, which is, heaven knows, a necessary skill, all right, in a world full of 24/7 noise and distraction. But too much leads to isolation. We should always be careful. Silence, though, is different. Silence is tuning in, intentionally, listening, alert, spacious, receptive. Even if noise isn't entirely absent, silence brings renewal and a sense of participation. not isolation. All the things we might do that we might practice to achieve more connectivity or spiritual nurturing, almost all of those require some silence. Spiritual traditions are full of this wisdom. We're often taught that, or at least it's assumed, that the life and ministry of Jesus was of traveling and preaching and healing. But if you actually read the Gospels, he's always going off by himself to the desert, or retreating to a quiet corner of the garden, or sojourning by himself in a boat, or asking others to retreat quietly with him to pray. In Islam, the life of the Prophet Muhammad was marked by a long series of sojourns into the desert and weeks spent in the silence of a cave. In fact, it was in the cave that Muhammad received the revelations that became the Quran. And the Buddha, of course, spent years living as an ascetic, walking and meditating silently in the forest, eventually coming to a vision of enlightenment, creating a movement that has shaped about half the world. Even in our own American secular tradition, Henry David Thoreau reminded us it's better to march to the beat of a different drummer, however measured or far away. So in the silence to come right now, may you hear the rhythm of yours. And one last reflection. And what follows is taken from one of my journals long ago. In fact, it was dated September 10th, 1991. It's been a week since the full moon and the night in the Gila wilderness when I stayed up till dawn, shirtless and shivering at 7,000 feet on a cliff above the river, chanting and meditating and singing and rubbing gravel and pine needles into my chest and hair, trying with every fiber of my being to connect with or receive some message from whatever higher power might be lurking around. And how perfectly in character, and how utterly captivating, how the response of the universe to this comic, absurd, painfully earnest endeavor was the very embodiment of passive-aggressive behavior. Because there was a response from the universe. The medium of communication was that big full moon, so bright that it cast my shadow onto the rocks, made it possible to see the clefts in other rocks across the canyon nearly a mile away. The moon positively screamed its message down that night, and the message was silence. Mute, uncomprehending, existential, amoral, eternal, impossibly deep silence. Time and space speeding off in every direction, even through my feet and the earth and out the other side and to places that comprehension can never go. Sharp, pointed, absolute silence that has always been and will always be. Silence whose presence is dependent on nothing. Silence that is the reality behind and within all the other realities that make up our tiny world of animal experience. Silence that is infinite and utterly hidden, utterly hidden behind things like walls and floors, behind things like love and conversations, behind even things like gravity and the laws of thermodynamics. Silence behind everything that fits our existence with such apparent perfection, that fills our field of vision with such exquisite precision, filling every nook and crevice of our physical senses so that we might never become aware that such a silence exists. Silence that is as infinite as it is perfect, and within which lives, and from which flows a strength and a love that resonated to the spaces between my cells. In the morning, I thought, how appropriate the universe would reveal this through something as beautiful as the moon. Thank you.
I learned this song from Rebecca Goldsmith, who I mentioned in the call to worship. We chose this because it's full of space and silence. I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join us in singing. There's two parts. We'll start with the first part, and then I'll move to the second. Join whichever one you like. This body, this breathing, 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 this body, this
benediction is from Thomas Merton. The reality that is present to us and in us, call it being, silence, and the simple fact that by being attentive, by learning to listen, or recovering the natural capacity to listen, we can find ourselves engulfed in such happiness that it cannot be explained. The happiness of being at one with everything, that hidden ground of love for which there can be no explanations. May we all grow in grace and peace and not neglect the silence that is printed in the center of our being. It will not fail us. Amen.